welcome back to the channel. My name is AlexTheTech, and today we have a very interesting PC to build. It is basically doing what a company did. I think it was Antec, I believe.
Modular power supplies are certainly nothing new, but Seasonic,
they had a power supply essentially just give 12 volts out, and then have a little breakout board in the back, which gave you, 3 volt, 3.5. 3.3, sorry, and your 12 volt, PCIe and whatnot to the different components. So today is what we're going to be doing today, and building a pretty cool PC. So without further ado, roll the intro, and we'll get right into it. Alright, so what we have here is an ACER case. If you remember, I picked this up with a monitor with a 4th gen motherboard in it, and we made a different PC with a different case. Basically, like I already said in past videos, I'm starting to reuse all of my old cases and basically turn them into awesome gaming PCs, because, or at least good looking gaming PCs, because I do believe in the reuse, recycling and reusing. I mean, why would I go out and spend rubbish on Chinese rubbish when the Chinese have already produced something that's still either way rubbish, but probably much more rigid and secure than that, rubbish that they have. And worst comes to worst, the cases all the time add up for free. I always take the case out of the equation. I never ever gave them a price. So basically, cases are always for free for me. And the only cost for me is really that PVC sheet, which is like $10, and the spray paint, which is like $4. And then my time in, modding stuff like this, which is the PSU shroud, which will hop onto there. But that all comes down to the price that I then add on top of the PC's value when I go to sell it. Today we have got an old ACER power supply right here. That's genuinely it. Basically, it's just a 12 volt power supply. That's all it does. It just takes AC voltage and turns it into 12 volt. It's a light on brick, and it's also 80 plus bronze, which is really nice. As you can see, it only gives out the 12 volt, 18 can you focus please? 18 amps, negative 12 volt, 0.5 amps, and then 5 volt SB, which is 2.5 amps max. Basically, what this board right here does is it takes a 12 volt input. This is also a Pico PSU, one of those rip-offs from China. And it basically takes the 12 volt from, for example, a PS3 power brick, which has like 22 amps on 12 volt rail, and turns it into, your 3.3 volt, your 5 volt, your negative 12 volt, and your 12 volt for your motherboard. And basically spits it out so you can have a 24 pin and a 4 pin right there, even though this. And well, what I'm going to do today is we're going to do the following. We're going to take the 4 pin from this guy, we're going to chop it up, solder it directly to the wire that goes to 2 seconds. To the wires right here, which plugs into the plus right here, and then we're just gonna use power from here, and then we're gonna just go ahead and try and get 2x6 pins for this graphics card right here, which is a GTX 560. And basically, we're going to be building a very nice looking gaming PC. This video is probably going to be about 15 minutes long, 20 minutes long. So yeah, strap in for your adventure, go get a cup of coffee or juice or whatever you enjoy, and we'll get into the modding. So let's go outside and let's go on to soldering. So the plan of attack, unfortunately I've got me neighbor making music, so I'll try to speak a bit louder. The plan of attack is to replace one of the 12 volt, I don't know what are they called, like holes. Basically, we've got 2 12 volt holes. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be replacing one 12 volt hole with the 12 volt for this guy, and the other 12 volt will be for the dual 6 pins when they eventually arrive from the China. And we are also going to be using this guy right here rather than this guy, simply because this is going to be constantly on, and I prefer the GPU can have 12 volt always go to it. It'll only turn on when it receives power and data from the motherboard. So that means pretty much from here, or getting power from here, it will then turn on and start sucking power from this guy. So this power supply will mod it to make sure it's always on, basically just shorting out the green wire with the negative, so that's not an issue. And we'll also go ahead and just solder those two up, and we'll be good to go with this power supply. So without further ado, roll the montage and we'll get right into it. probably 5 days later, so essentially a week. And well, the adapters have finally officially arrived, so that's good. It's just a simple 1/8 single 8-pin to dual 8-pins. Even though you shouldn't theoretically use these, if you're going to be doing 1/8 to 6-pin to dual 6-pins, you should be absolutely fine with any power supply ever. Now, the issue is this power supply, as I already said, only gives the 18 amps on the 12-volt rail. That's all it gives out, this 12 volts, which is why we're adapting it to a Pico PC. I've explained that in the intro. I went on the power supply calculator. I forgot, it's like the first link that comes up. It's the one that doesn't have anything to do with power supplies. It's just a link that exists, a site that exists, very useful. I use it all the time for power supply calculations. And well, this card here sucks up a wonderful 200 watts by itself, leaving that with about 18 watts of power. So that's about 1 amp. So I'm interested to see whether this card will actually suck it all up. Worst comes to worst, we can always downclock the card or reduce its voltage in the BIOS. So I'm interested to see if we can actually do that if the GPU doesn't, if the power supply doesn't run. Realistically, I shouldn't do it. It doesn't have enough power. But I mean, I've done it before and they've actually worked out fine. So we're gonna YOLO it, and we're just gonna stick on two 6-pins and call it a day and see how it goes. So without further ado, let's start the speed up. Let's cut this open and let's get to soldering it all up. If you're wondering why I jumped probably that many files, is simply because one power supply was pretty much gone. It just kept turning on and off, so somewhere it was shorting, and I tried the other one and the other one worked. So yeah, so back to the video. Alright, so I'm switching over to 60 frames per second for that startup because it just makes the video look a bit better either way. So now it officially works. I can go ahead and plug it in, and it will turn on and everything will just work absolutely fine. I'm getting 12 volts out of this guy and out of this guy, and it's back to working order. I'm genuinely happy. Firmware is running absolutely fine. Our GPU is indeed getting stressed. As you can see, it is going up. It was idling at 25 degrees, which was really good for this GPU. Oh, you can I think it's, yeah, this thing's ramping up because the current is being used, so this guy is definitely starting to suck some air. You can actually hear it. Either who, yeah, sorry for my bad camera, but firmware runs, which is excellent. This guy has ramped up officially, meaning that this guy can easily support it. Unfortunately, I don't have a watt meter. I would love to see that, check whether or not it is actually, you know, being screwed over. But by the looks of it, even heating wise, it's still nice and cool, so nothing really crazy. And the air it's sucking out is still cold, which is good. So yeah, firmware officially runs, which is excellent. So this means that this thing officially works. So we'll definitely make a video on this PC soon, and that's about it. So thank you for tuning guys. As you can see, after a dead power supply essentially, and another switch over, we now have a working, I think it was Antec that made the power supply, which was 12 volt to the breakout board on the back of the PC. So yeah, thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to stick around and subscribe because I'm going to be making a PC with this, basically the identical PC. We're adding RGB and, you know, all that stuff, and hopefully, fingers crossed, this guy can support all that power draw. So without further ado, thank you very much. Make sure to leave a like and a subscribe, and I'll catch you next time. See you guys.